I spent years in the self-help world, read every book, watched every video, took notes like my life depended on it. Then one day, it clicked. After consuming hundreds of hours of content, after spending thousands on courses and books, after years of working on myself, I hadn't actually changed anything. I'd just gotten really good at feeling productive while standing completely still. See, there's this dirty little secret about the self-help world that nobody wants to admit. The entire industry, worth over $17 billion by the way, needs you to stay broken. They profit more from your problems than your progress. And the worst part, they're training your brain to love it. Every book you finish floods your system with dopamine. Every motivational video makes you feel like you just leveled up. Every course you buy feels like progress, but it's not progress. It's addiction disguised as growth. I'm about to show you exactly how this works, how they hook you, keep you consuming, and why that guru you follow probably cares more about your credit card than your transformation. And if you stick around, I'll tell you the one thing that actually changed my life after I stopped listening to everyone else tell me how to live it. All right, so let's talk about that feeling you get when you just finish a self-help book. You know the one, that surge of, I'm gonna change my life energy. That feeling like you just discovered the secret everyone else is missing. I used to chase that feeling like a drug, and turns out that's exactly what it was. See, your brain releases the same dopamine hit from learning about success as it does from actually achieving it. Pretty wild, right? Your brain literally can't tell the difference between reading about going to the gym and actually doing it. This is called action faking. You're not procrastinating, that would feel bad. You're doing something that feels productive. You're learning, growing, consuming knowledge. But here's what nobody tells you. There's nothing new in any of those books. I'm serious. That morning routine your favorite guru swears by, Marcus Aurelius was doing it 2,000 years ago. That visualization technique, Buddha taught it. That revolutionary productivity hack, Ben Franklin already had it figured out. It's all the same advice, just repackaged. New cover, new author, same ideas. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. Good advice is good advice. The problem is when you need to read it 47 different ways before you'll actually do something about it. Research shows that the average person who buys one self-help book will buy 7 more. But if this stuff actually worked, why would you even need more than one? Think about it for a second. When you learned to ride a bike, you didn't need 7 different instructors explaining balance. You just got on the bike, fell a few times until you didn't. But with self-help, we keep consuming. Another book, another course, another seminar. Why? Because learning feels like progress. Your brain rewards you for it. You get that little dopamine hit, that sense of accomplishment. Meanwhile, you haven't actually done anything. I remember reading the study. They had 2 groups trying to lose weight. One group spent an hour learning about nutrition. The other group spent an hour walking. Guess which group felt more accomplished? The learners. Yeah, this is the comfort trap. Learning is comfortable. Doing is uncomfortable. And your brain will always choose comfort unless you force it not to. Okay, so here's where this thing gets a little dark. The self-help industry isn't just big, it's massive. We're talking $20 billion by 2027, growing 5.9% every year. That's more than some GDPs of some smaller countries. And here's the thing that should probably get you angry. You're more profitable to the industry, unhappy than fulfilled. Think about it. If you actually solved your problems, would you buy another book, another course, another ticket to that $5,000 seminar? Of course not. You'd be too busy living your life. So the industry has gotten really, really good at keeping you in this loop. They know exactly how to push your buttons. First, they find your pain point. Are you lonely, broke, feeling unsuccessful? They've got a product for that. Then, they use something psychologists call parasocial bonding. This is where it gets kind of creepy. You know when that person on YouTube looks right into the camera and says they believe in you, that they love you, that you're special? They're talking to a camera in an empty room. There's no one there. They don't know you even exist. But your brain doesn't know that. Your brain thinks you have a relationship with this person. You trust them, you feel connected. And once you trust someone, you'll buy whatever they're selling. There's a psychological principle called reciprocity. When someone gives you something, you feel obligated to give back. That's why they give you free content. Nothing's free. They're building a debt in your mind that you'll pay back with your credit card later. The craziest part, they literally tell you that they don't charge $100,000 because they're on a mission to help people. Like they're doing you a favor by only charging $7,000 for a Zoom course that probably cost them $5 to make. And we fall for it every time. Because the uncomfortable truth, the vulnerability that brought you to self-help in the first place is exactly what they're exploiting. You came looking for answers because something in your life wasn't working. You were in pain, confused, maybe desperate. And instead of actually helping, they sold you hope in a bottle over and over again. Here's something that's going to sound obvious, but actually changes everything once you get it. Self-help problems are simple, but difficult. Let me explain. You want to lose weight? Eat less, move more. Simple. You want to save money? Spend less than you earn. Simple. You want better relationships? Listen more, be present. Simple. You could write the solution to most life problems on a napkin. But here's the thing. Simple doesn't mean easy. In fact, it's the opposite. Studying for an exam is complex, but easy. You sit down, open a book, read. There are lots of steps, lots of information, but the actual doing, not that hard. Break up with someone toxic? Simple. You just say, we're done. But holy hell, is it difficult. This is what nobody wants to admit about self-help. The problem isn't that you don't know what to do. You know exactly what to do. You've read it in 17 different books. The problem is that doing it feels like climbing Mount Everest in your underwear. And this is where the industry gets you. They convince you that if you just learn a little more, find the right framework, discover the secret technique, then it'll finally feel easy. But it never will. It's not supposed to be easy. Think about it. Your brain is literally wired to keep you safe, comfortable, in familiar patterns. Every time you try to change, your brain screams danger and floods you with resistance. That's not a bug, it's a feature. Your ancestors, who are careful and stuck to what they knew, survived. The ones who randomly tried new things got eaten by tigers. So when you try to wake up at 5 a.m. instead of 9, your brain treats it like a threat to your survival. When you try to have that difficult conversation, your brain acts like you're about to fight a bear. The feeling of difficulty, that's not a sign you're doing it wrong. That's a sign you're doing something that matters. But the self-help industry can't sell you this will always be hard. So they sell you the fantasy that somewhere out there is a way to make it easy. There isn't. There never was. The difficulty is the work. Let's talk about toxic positivity for a second, and hustle culture, and this weird idea that you should be grateful and grinding 24/7. You know what I'm talking about, right? This obsession with never having a negative thought, with working 80-hour weeks and calling it success, with pretending everything's amazing while you're dying inside. I fell for this hard. After reading my first stack of self-help books, I thought negative emotions were the enemy. Any doubt, any sadness, any moment of maybe this isn't working felt like failure. So I pushed harder, worked longer hours, smiled bigger, posted more motivational quotes. And you know what happened? I burned out so hard that I couldn't get out of bed for a week. Because here's what the good vibes only crowd won't tell you. Negative emotions aren't bugs, they're features. They're data. They're your internal Jeep saying, wrong direction, buddy. When you feel frustrated, that's information. When you feel sad, that's information. When you want to quit something, that's not weakness. That's your brain trying to tell you something important. But hustle culture tells you to ignore all of that. Push through, never quit, sleep when you're dead. You know what's funny? The people posting about their 4 a.m. morning routines and 18-hour workdays, they're usually not actually doing it. They're performing productivity. It's all theater. The real successful people I know, they work in focused bursts. There's actually this study from Stanford that productivity drops off a cliff after 50 hours a week. The person working 70 hours isn't actually getting more done than the person working 50. They're just getting more tired. But tired feels like progress in the hustle culture. Exhaustion is a badge of honor. burnout is proof you're serious. It's not. It's proof you've been sold a lie about how success actually works. The truth? Success isn't about working harder than everyone else. It's about working on the right things. And you can't figure out what the right things are if you're too exhausted to think straight. Alright, so after all of this, you're probably thinking, cool Parker, you've thoroughly depressed me. Everything's a scam. Now what? Here's the thing. I'm not saying self-improvement is bad. I'm saying self-help consumption is killing your actual growth. There's a massive difference between improving yourself and consuming content about improving yourself. One changes your life, the other just changes your credit card balance. So here's what actually works. And it's stupidly simple, which is probably why no one's selling it for $997 a month. First, stop consuming and start experimenting. Pick one thing, not 7, one. Maybe it's exercising. Maybe it's that business idea. Maybe it's fixing your sleep. Whatever, just one. Now, here's the key. Don't read another book about it. Don't watch another video. Don't buy another course. Just do it badly for 30 days. I'm serious. Do it wrong. Do it imperfectly. Do it when you don't feel like it. Do it when that guru you follow would tell you your mindset isn't right. Because action teaches you what no book can. When I started Black Ink Coffee, I read 0 business books. I just started roasting beans badly in my garage. Was it perfect? Hell no. Did I learn more in that first month than in my years of reading about business? Absolutely. The second thing, feelings follow action, not the other way around. You don't feel motivated and then go to the gym. You go to the gym and then you feel motivated. You don't feel confident and then you start the business. You start the business, then slowly build confidence. The self-help industry has this backwards. They're trying to fix your feelings so you'll take action. But your feelings aren't broken. They're waiting for evidence that you're actually doing something. Third, embrace the suck. Whatever you're trying to change, the first 30 days are going to be awful. Your brain's going to resist. You're going to want to quit probably 47 different times. That's not failure. That's the process. That's literally your brain rewiring itself. Scientists call this neuroplasticity. Your brain's physically changing its structure. And guess what? It feels terrible. It's supposed to. But the beautiful part, after those 30 days of suck, it starts to become automatic. What felt impossible becomes normal. Not easy, but normal. And that's when you pick the next thing. One thing for 30 days. No courses, no gurus, no revolutionary systems, just you doing the thing badly until you don't. Look, I get it. This video probably isn't what you wanted to hear. You came here looking for the next productivity hack, the next morning routine, the next secret to success. But you've been consuming that stuff for how long now? And where has it gotten you? Here's my challenge to you, and it's going to sound crazy, but stop consuming self-help content for 30 days. Delete the apps, unsubscribe from newsletters, put the books in a box. Instead, pick one action, one real thing you've been thinking about doing, and just do it. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for the perfect plan. Just start today, badly. Because at the end of those 30 days of real action, even imperfect action, you'll have changed more than 30 years of consuming content ever could. The truth is, you already know what you need to do. You've known for a while now. You just got addicted to learning about it instead of doing it. So, drop a comment down below, not about what you're going to consume next, but what you're going to do. And then, go do it. Stop watching videos about it. Stop reading about it. Just do it. Your future self will thank you. But first, a quote I want to leave you with. The path isn't hidden. You're just standing still.